happy 4th of July to all of you on the day we celebrate our independence, often with parades and get-togethers with family and friends. And with that in mind, our In the Kitchen with Across the Fence theme for today is picnics and outdoor eating. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. We have a kitchen full of chefs and food for you today. We invite you to join us over the next half hour as some of our chefs present some of their favorite summertime recipes. And I'll let you know how you can get all of them at the end of the program. Our regular chefs, Carolyn, Deb, and Lynn are here along with Marco and Tina, who've prepared some recipes with a foreign flair, but it's most appropriate that we start our show with Heather Fisher and her sons Ethan and Caden from Colchester, as this is an exciting day for boys and girls of all ages. Now, I know the rest of you have some last-minute prepping, and we're going to see your creations in just a minute, but right now, Heather and boys, the kitchen is yours.
Thank you.
Sure.
It's great to be here to share some outdoor eating and picnic recipes, and I want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July. I know it's an exciting day for my boys and my daughter, who you'll maybe see at the end of the show. So I'm going to start with my first recipe, which is for a grilled veggie sandwich. Right here, I'm going to put it on the plate as I talk about it. So now what you do with these is you slice some of your favorite vegetables. I have zucchini, summer squash, peppers, and some red onions. I tossed them all in some olive oil, topped them with some salt and pepper, and grilled them for about 3 to 5 minutes on my grill on each side. So then after you've grilled your vegetables, you can take them off your grill, and then I use these little focaccia bread rolls, slice them in half, made a dressing with mayonnaise, lemon juice, and some minced garlic, and spread that on both sides of the roll. And then I topped it with feta cheese. Put them back on the grill so the cheese slightly melted. You're not looking for it to get really super toasty and crunchy, but just to slightly melt the cheese. And then you take those off, top them with your roasted or grilled veggies, and serve them like this as an open-faced sandwich. They're delicious. I made them a few years ago for the first time for Mother's Day, and it was a big hit with the mothers. Then I'm going to move on to my viewer recipe. This is fruit and yogurt pasta right here, sent to us from Majel Harold of Brookfield. And my son Caden is going to help us add the last ingredient. But first, let me tell you what we're starting with. We have some pasta shells, and to that we've mandarin oranges, some grapes, some pineapple chunks, and some lemon yogurt. And Majel wrote that this is very tasty, it's low cal, and you can make it ahead of time, so it's great for your summer gatherings. All right, Caden, add the last ingredient. So right before serving, you're gonna sprinkle your strawberries in. Good job, and I'm just gonna stir those around. All right, Caden, you got it. And I'm gonna add some to my plate so you can see all the colors. And again, I'm gonna thank Majel for sending in this recipe. Add those to my plate. And then I'm going to move on to another side dish, which I had at a restaurant and a while back and wanted to recreate it, but couldn't find anything like it anywhere. So this is called roasted root and potato salad. So it's similar to a potato salad, except for you have roasted root vegetables in it too. So I added beets, carrots, sweet potatoes, red potatoes, and some red onions and fresh rosemary, topped it with some olive oil, and roasted it in my oven for about 45 minutes until they are tender but not super mushy. Then I made a dressing with mayonnaise, half a lemon juice, and the secret ingredient is about 5 to 10 chopped baby dill pickles. So I mixed that. Once the veggies were completely room temperature, I mixed that all together. And it's a really light dressing on it, so it's not overpowering, but it's so delicious. It's probably one of my favorite. I think I even added some fresh dill in there to make the flavors really pop. All right, my last two recipes. This is the one that my boys are excited to try. It's right here in the front. They're the watermelon Rice Krispie treats. Really fun to make. I actually had some help from my neighbor, Kim, because I don't own a microwave, and you need a microwave to make this recipe. And my neighbor, Dominic, helped me prepare this recipe. So you start by putting marshmallows and butter and in a microwave till it's melted, and add in your food coloring, your green food coloring, which is the rind you can see for the watermelon. Mix it all together with your Rice Krispies. Take a round cake pan and sort of push it against the side just to make a ring around it. And the trick I used is by spraying my hands with some oil so that it wouldn't stick as I'm pushing it in to make that ring. Then you do the same thing with the pink or reddish meat for the watermelon with your Rice Krispie treats. Put that in the center. add your chocolate chips for the seeds, and then you sort of cut it in like a pie, like a pizza, into these little wedges so they look like watermelon slices. So they're really fun, and kids really love looking at them, and they look pretty cool. So that might be something fun to try at one of your summer gatherings, especially if you have kids. My last recipe is Ethan created up here in the front. Ethan, can you tell us what you made?
I made fruit kebabs in the shape of the American flag.
Well, that's kind of fun. It's pretty simple. You start by taking blueberries and bananas and strawberries, and you put them on the skewers in the shape of the American flag. So that would be something simple and easy to do and fun to have out for the 4th of July.
Wow, these all look great. What a good idea with the flag. That's very cute.
Yeah, thanks.
Reminds me of your shirt. Nice job.
Thank you.
Now, as many of you viewers may remember, last month we gave you a chance to win the Encyclopedia of Cooking with almost 2,000 recipes from noted chef Gian Benoit of Montreal. Now, we're pleased to announce that the lucky winner is Kathleen Riley from St. Albans. And here she is with Lynn Jarvis, who brought the cookbook to personally deliver to her. She was thrilled and very pleased with her prize. Congratulations, Kathleen, and enjoy the cookbook. Now, to add some international flavor to our celebration of Independence Day, we have invited Tina Escada and Marco Ayala to join us. Tina is from Spain and a professor of Spanish at the University of Vermont, and Marco is from Mexico and a video editor and graphic designer. And they're going to tell us about Independence Day in their countries and show us some recipes that they enjoy. I want to thank you both for joining us on the 4th of July.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, now Tina, tell us about Independence Day in Spain.
Well, actually, we don't have Independence Day, even though it's a little bit complex because some areas in Spain now want the independence within Spain, like the Catalan area in the northeast part or the north area in the Basque Country. But in general, we don't celebrate Independence Day.
Okay, but you do have a day that you do celebrate.
Oh, we celebrate so many days.
Which is fun.
But one of them is October 12th, which is Columbus Day. That's very important for Spain in general. So all the regions always celebrate October 12th.
Okay, so what did you make for us today?
I made two very typical dishes, but very different dishes from Spain. One is the tortilla de patata. As you see, the patata doesn't have anything to do the word tortilla with the Mexican tortilla made with corn flour. It's completely different. Tortilla in Spain is omelette. So this is a Spanish omelette made with potatoes, and it's very versatile if you wish, because some people make it with chorizo, for example, and I like my tortillas with some onions and red bell peppers. Yes, it's also a reminiscence of the flag of Spain, which is red and yellow. And in some areas, people like to eat that with a little bit of mayonnaise on the top. And some other areas, they like to eat it with a little bit of alioli. Alioli is a word from Barcelona, from the Catalan area of Spain. That means it's al y oli, which is ajo and aceite, garlic and oil. So, but you know, you can eat that. You can find this everywhere, also as a tapa dish in the bars.
Terrific.
And this is my second beautiful paella.
Yeah, look at the colors in that.
Yeah, so I'm going to adorn it a little bit as I talk a little bit about paella. Paella is a very celebratory, very exciting, beautiful dish. It's completely different. It's more expensive, so it's pretty much made in special occasions. For example, the 4th of July in this case could be one.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this in Spain, for example, in the east part of Spain where I grew up. We get together Sundays, all the family get together and we eat paella together. So it's a very special dish. You have to be on time because, of course, the rice has to be tender, perfect, al dente, so you cannot be late. And this is a paella mixta. So it's a mixed paella, which means that I have some meat, vegetables, and also seafood, as you see. The meat usually, at least in the northeast part of Spain, is usually rabbit.
Oh, okay.
But I couldn't really find rabbit, so I have chicken. You can find it around. So here is my wonderful paella, and you see there are mussels. They're inside. Of course, you have also squid. I'm going to put a little bit of. I'm going to squeeze also a little bit of lemon around, and so you have octopus and all sorts of seafood. So it's
There's a lot going on.
It's a lot going on. It's beautiful. You need to make it really with love and time and patience. And here it is.
And then linger over the meal.
Yes. Oh, of course. And then you have your espresso. No doubt about it. So at least we, in my family, we don't eat that much of desserts. So we usually have fruit. So the main dish is, for example, this paella.
Fantastic. Thank you so
smells
much. I know,
wonderful.
doesn't it? It's amazing.
Thank you.
I wish
Yes.
the viewers could smell it.
I know, really. So tell us about Mexico.
Well, in Mexico, not to be confused, most people think that Cinco de Mayo is our Independence Day, but it's actually in September. It's September 15,
Okay.
and it's when we gained our independence from Spain. The most significant thing, and the most traditional thing about September 15 is that at night, on the night of the 15th, we celebrate. Well, back then, when the independence happened, there was a priest, Miguel Hidalgo y Costilla, who declared the independence. And the story goes is that he shouted "Viva Mexico" 3 times. And now, it's as part of the tradition, every year on the night of September 15th, the president will do his ceremony, and he'll shout out "Viva Mexico" 3 times, just like Miguel Hidalgo did.
Excellent. That's terrific. So what have you brought for us today?
Well, I brought 2 really nice recipes. This one is guacamole.
One of my favorites.
And it's great for picnics.
Yeah.
Because you can use it as a dip with tortilla chips, or you can. It's very versatile, because you can also use it as a spread. You can put it on sandwiches, hamburgers, and all of a sudden they're Mexican sandwiches or Mexican hamburgers.
Just like that.
Yeah, and it's also very good for you. Avocados are very, very good for you. They have a very high content of fatty acids and monosaturated oils, which are actually good for you.
Now, how do you pick them in the grocery store? Because usually in the grocery store they're very hard, so it's hard to tell when they're ripe.
Yes,
For me.
The trick to pick your really good avocados is that they should be soft to the touch, but not mushy.
Okay.
And that's when they're perfectly ripe for use, because you want to use them within 1 or 2 days from when you get them at the grocery store.
Excellent. Okay, great.
And so it's really good. Kids love it, and it's a really nice way to sneak in vegetables into their diets. And my last tip about guacamole is, how usually avocados get brown.
Right, as soon as you cut them open.
Exactly, and that's the oxidizing process, that when they come in contact with the air. So in order to keep them nice and green, you put saran over it, to squeeze out all the air, and they'll stay green for hours.
Oh, okay.
So
Good.
that's a great tip that some of you should try sometime. And of course, we have to have dessert. And these cookies are great for picnics. They're called Mexican wedding cookies, and they're rolled in. It's your basic buttered cookie, and they're rolled in confectionery sugar. They're very crispy, so they really stay. They travel well.
Crunchy, yeah.
Yeah, so they say crunchy. I'm going to open one of them just so you can see it. Look at that. There's
nice.
pecans in there. And these cookies take double the amount of vanilla than most cookies. So they're very fragrant, and that's where they get that taste.
What I like about them too is they're small, so you can eat several.
Exactly, because they don't count if they're small.
Excellent, thanks so much. Now remember that I said that Marco is a graphic artist. Well, he's the one who collects all the recipes from our chefs here in the kitchen and then formats them into our monthly collections that you're going to have your hands full this month, Marco, with all these recipes.
I know, so many nice things to type.
Exactly. Well, that leads us to our drawing for this month. And one of you lucky viewers will win an outing on beautiful Paradise Bay in South Hero with Lynn Jarvis, and that includes a picnic on his pontoon boat. All of you who order the recipes today will automatically be entered, and if you don't order, just send us your name and address to be entered in our free drawing. And I'll be back in a few minutes with all the details on that. In the meantime, Carolyn is here. Thanks so much for coming up from Williamstown.
You're very welcome.
And so, do you have any plans for the rest of the day?
We thought we might go fishing.
Perfect. Be out on the lake. That's great. So what have you got for us today?
Oh, I've got oodles of things. I'm going to start out right up here in the front, and this is a savory party bread. And it's really kind of neat because you take a round loaf of sourdough bread, you cut it this way, and then you put Monterey Jack cheese in, and you pour melted butter and green onions and poppy seeds over the whole thing, and you bake it. You wrap it in foil and bake it. And then when people are going to eat it, they just break off parts of it and eat a chunk and just enjoy it that way. So it's a really nice thing to have out on just a regular picnic day, and people can just come along and break a piece off whenever they want it. My next recipe, this is something I had never tried before, quinoa. And it is a grain like barley and corn and things like that. But it's something that if a person has a problem with grains and everything, they can eat quinoa. And a friend of mine at church was the one who told me about it, and I found this recipe. You cook it up like you would oatmeal, kind of. And then into this, you're going to mix asparagus and cherry tomatoes, the snap peas, and, come on, get over here, green beans. Green beans don't want to get out. And you just mix it all together and make up a light dressing to go onto it. And you've got a really nice salad, cold salad, to have out. And the recipe in my thing said it serves 4. I think they didn't put quite the right number down there because it's got a whole lot more than that. My next salad is a faux potato salad, and that's F-A-U-X. It means fake. And this one is made with cauliflower. So it's got lots of good vegetables in it. It also has carrots. It has some green onions, celery. It's got a couple of hard-boiled eggs cut up in it, and some pickles and some radishes, and sprinkled with sunflower seeds, roasted sunflower seeds on top. And it doesn't want, I'm having all kinds of troubles with things today. Nothing wants to stay in the dish. But it looks like a potato salad, but it is very different, but it's very good. And if you want to cut back on some of the starchy things by using the cauliflower, you can take care of that problem in a hurry. Now, no picnic is complete without fried chicken. And this is a fried chicken that is actually cooked in the oven. And you make a marinade with Greek yogurt and Dijon mustard and some garlic, and you marinate the chicken in that. Then it's skinless chicken legs. And then you mix up, I used white whole wheat flour, paprika, baking powder, some pepper. You put that all together, put them on a baking tray with a rack on it. And then you spray it with some olive oil flavored cooking spray and bake it for about 45 minutes, and you've got some really nice drumsticks to have with your meal. So there's the basic meal. Now we'll get to my favorite part, the desserts. And the first one I have, and I have to admit, I forgot, because this was my viewer recipe. It is a chocolate pound cake, and is it ever good? But I can't tell you who made it because I forgot to bring that bit of information with me. But it is a very, very nice pound cake, nice and chocolatey, and I think maybe if a person wanted to, they could throw some nuts and some chocolate chips into it. But anyway, if you're the one who sent that recipe, it is exceptionally good, and people will have to look in the recipe flyer when it comes to find out who did it. So my apologies. My final recipe is called Bake Sale Lemon Bars. And these are just a basic crust on the bottom. And then you mix up eggs, sugar, and lemon juice. Pour it over the baked crust. Put it back in the oven and let it cook for another 20 to 25 minutes. And you've got some really nice lemon bars all set to go. So let me see. Now I'm going to turn it over to Deb Plumley. She's been with us before. And I don't know, I see chocolate.
You do, you do. But before we get to desserts, let's go back to the dishes. So my first recipe to share this 4th of July holiday is my go-to for our family gatherings. It's called Sweet and Tangy Kielbasa. You slice your kielbasa into bite-sized slices and simmer it in beer for about 15 minutes. Then you put that in your crock pot. You add some ketchup, mustard, brown sugar, and a little bit of cider vinegar, and let it cook on low in your crock pot. It has to simmer for at least 2 to 3 hours, but the longer it sits in the mixture, the better it's going to be. So that's one of our family's favorites. Next I have cheese-topped barbecue beef cups. So these are all the flavors of your cookout. You've got ground beef, hot dogs, baked beans that you simmer together in a savory sauce. You line your muffin tins with crescent rolls, put about 1/4 cup of meat mixture in, and bake in the oven for about 12 minutes. Then you take them out of the oven, put some shredded cheese on the top, and pop them back in until the cheese is melted and the muffins are brown. And they're so easy to serve because they just come right out of the muffin pan. I have a viewer recipe to share next. This is from Carolyn Bourgeois of Regents, and it is Napa Valley Ranch chicken salad. You take cooked chicken, dice it, add some halved red grapes, some diced celery, onions, toasted pecans, and toss that together and let it sit for about 2 hours. When you're ready to take it to the picnic, you can just pack it separately in your cooler, put on your bed of lettuce, toss it in, and you're ready to serve. And Carolyn, because it really is all about desserts, now we're going to go to some of my favorites. These are no-bake chocolate oatmeal cookies. Your chocolate, your peanut butter, your milk, and your sugar is all stirred together on top of the stove. You add your oatmeal, drop it onto your cookie sheet, and just let it cool, and you're ready to go. And last are my s'more pops. Marshmallows dipped in melted chocolate rolled in graham cracker crumbs, because you can't have a picnic without s'mores. And Lynn, what do you have to share?
Oh, you know, we've got so much, but I got to show some pictures of our 4th of July parade. Come on over.
Excellent, great. I was bummed I was going to miss the parade.
Well, we can be at her parents' orchard and watch the parade, and I have a few slides to show you. This first one is Casey Fantoni, and he has oxen, and his son, David, lives up in the islands, and that's Casey and the oxen. Next, we have the Judge Mobile with David Sands. Is he our postmaster?
He's our postmaster.
Oh, okay, good.
Hey, David.
And Dunkley's Gymnastics put on a great show. Can you imagine doing these tumbling acts
and handstands
with the moving vehicle?
While they're moving, exactly, jumping on the trampoline.
And Camp Hochelaga is a big camp up there, and they
march the whole length.
And kids from Abnaki show up, and Eagle Camp, and last but not least, our South Hero Rescue Squad.
That's right, bringing up the rear.
Well, I have to really go now because we took a little extra time there. But I first have to tell you, watch Across the Fence on July 10 and 11, my trip to Turkey. I'm very proud of these shows. We start in Istanbul, the only city on 2 continents, and end up in Ankara. But here's my picnic basket. Now, first I have a viewer recipe sent in by Betty Magoon of Colchester, and she's a loyal viewer. She says one of her favorite recipes, and here it is. It's her cheesy potato ham casserole. Easy to make because in a large bowl you mix up some cream of chicken soup, ham, and your shredded cheddar, onion, and a little sour cream, and you have a really good recipe. Top it with some cornflakes and butter, and bake it in. I used a small dish because I made 2 dishes and put one in the freezer for later use, so we thank Betty Magoon for that recipe. And next I'm going to move on to one of my favorite recipes. I have so many cookbooks that I rarely buy anymore, and so many great recipes from you viewers, but I decided to buy the Taste of Home ground beef cookbook, and I'm glad I did because on page 103 I found this recipe for cherry baked beans. Now you viewers know that I love cherries, and beans are great at picnics, and this is a really nice flavor combination. You have your beans in here, you put in your cherries, kidney beans, and it's all flavored with ketchup, mustard, onion, and onion soup mix, which is a really nice flavor. So if you try this, let me know how you like it. It's a little bit different. And we're going to move on now to the fact if you don't really care for beans, I think you'll like my best ever maple monkey bread. And here it is. Since it's made with the refrigerated biscuits, it's easy to make. You put in with the dough some cinnamon, raisins, and brown sugar. And I like it. It's a quick recipe to put on a plate, and people can come by and help themselves. And Ethan and Kaden did such a great job. I'm going to let them, why don't you come in the front, boys? I think that would be easier for you, and help themselves. And we look forward to them coming back at Christmas. They usually join us then. And if you guys move just this way a little so I can see what I'm doing. Hot dogs are always very popular at any outdoor gatherings, and here's a little bit of a twist on that. This is chili coney dogs, and Carolyn, you're going to love this because it's made in the slow cooker. First, you take some ground beef, a little bit of onion and some cinnamon and spices, and put that into the slow cooker with the hot dogs and cook it on low for about 4 hours. Then when it's ready, take the sauce out, take the hot dogs out, and put them in your buns like you see here. And you can garnish them with a pickled relish and some shredded cheddar. And I think we're going to enjoy these in about 5 minutes, and I wish all you viewers were here to sample these along with us. Now, this next recipe is going to be something that your kids and your grandkids and all you grown-up kids are going to enjoy. And when you hear the name, you're going to know why. It's called cowboy goulash. Easy to make with just 6 ingredients, because you start with a package of cheese that you just stir up on the burner. Then when that's ready, you make a sauce to go over the top, and that's made with ground beef, tomatoes, corn, and chili powder to taste. I go light on that. So that goes right in here. And I actually read that the cowboys really use this out on the range in the chuck wagon. The chef makes it up when they come in from working with the cattle. This is one of their favorite recipes. So here we go, just like that. And lastly, my dessert, and they're these blueberry picnic pies. I like them because they're a grab-and-go dessert. You can use them for potlucks, bake sales, or whatever. Easy to make with just some pie crust and blueberries. My blueberries weren't ready yet. They're not ripe, so I had to buy some.
It's great because it's an easy getaway. Just grab that and take
Yeah,
off.
it's a grab and go, yeah.
So many great recipes, and I want to thank all of our chefs for joining us on the 4th of July to help us out. Now, there are a couple different ways that you can get these recipes and also be entered into the drawing for the boat ride. You can get the recipes online from the Across the Fence website. Go to uvm.edu/extension and click on the link to Across the Fence. You'll find the recipes on the left-hand side of the page. To get the recipes by mail, send $2 in a stamped, self-addressed business-size envelope to Picnic Recipes, Box 188, South Hero, Vermont, 05486. Remember, if you're ordering the recipes, to include $2 and a self-addressed stamped envelope. We will use the envelope addressed to Box 188 as your entry for the drawing for the boat ride. And if you're not ordering the recipes today, just send along your name, address, and phone number to the address on the screen, and that will enter you in the free drawing. And good luck to all of you. And please join us on August 1st when our topic will be Cooking Light, and we'll be announcing the winner of that boat ride. And again, from all of us here at Across the Fence, thanks for watching today. It's party time in the kitchen. Have a great 4th of July.
For a video copy of today's program, call toll-free 1-888-ATF-3430. Across the Fence is brought to you as a public service by University of Vermont Extension and WCAX-TV.